And we can go. I'll do the intro, I guess. Welcome to episode 2, week 2 of R&D. We got the podcast going. You got Diakou, me. I'm the R&D, obviously. And we got special guests this time. M4 Mini, Lance Player,
Yeah.
EU Son, Algrim. That's what he's known for.
Alright. Well, that being said, because you did the intro, like you said, welcome to another episode. We're obviously this time going to be talking about summers. That means close to everything from the meta for summers, who is going to play as well, who might not play as well. We're going to essentially dissect it all and have a debate about it, and then just send it
Apparently,
back to you
Diakou decided his glasses stream today, so I'll put mine on too.
Oh yeah, we're doing doctor type of stuff at this point. So, but as we said, we have M from Mini with us on this lovely day.
Yeah. Ready to talk about that stuff?
So how you been, Mini? It's good to have you on. I wanted to get an EU player on so we could have a mix. Last week was NA, this week you get EU. And since we're on the topic of summers, how are you feeling? Are you ready for it? Are you excited for yourself? You gonna do good?
I don't know if you've seen me play for Springs, but before Springs, I was, I don't know, quote unquote, you can say washed, I guess, because I've been placing for a very long time, the whole of 2019. And then what I did was I started to stream for like 30, I guess you can say something like 30 days in a row. And in that period, I was grinding, and I actually ended up getting 4th place in Spring Champs 1v1.
You got 4th
No.
place in Spring Champs. Now,
So that was a good progression. But then com break came, and of course I got 9th. Had to face Blue and Acno. It was a tough, bracket. But for summers, gotta keep it on the real. The practice has been a bit less. Not gonna lie to you, but I still think I'm consistent enough to at least challenge the same spots again. Possibly get higher. Who knows? I don't know. I'll just wait and see. Really.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea where I am myself, so we're not even going to go on that.
Diakou, you're actually a YouTuber. Don't talk
I'm
about the
actually just a
tournament.
content creator.
You're a
Yeah.
YouTuber.
It just happened, didn't it? Anyways.
We don't see you playing with Brawlhalla anymore. We see you recording it. But
That's
as
what's
for
up.
me, I don't know, because I live in North America where we've decided that Cody Travis reigns supreme, and whatever that means for me, it means for me. So I'm gonna go in with a good mindset, and it's gonna be that. But let's get right into it. Diakou, what do you want to look at first in regards to the summer championships this weekend? I don't like.
Can you say that again?
I don't like the face you have on your face. What are we looking at first for summer championships this weekend?
Yeah, so first tournament that's going to be happening is the 1v1, obviously, and specifically, at least for the European side, I think, once again, we will obviously just have Acno at the top. I don't think anything can put that man away from being at the top at this point, unless himself and his own motivation to practice. I don't know how much he's been practicing lately, but I don't think he has been practicing as much as he was for the last tournament, at least. That usually is how it goes for Brawl players when they start winning too much. It just gets boring. There was a time where I felt that as well.
No,
Now, besides Acno, really,
Heisen.
it's such a toss-up. Yeah, it's high. So there's Heisen, and I generally believe that he's probably the second best at this point because Simple just straight up seems like he's given up on like trying to place as high as he can like in the past, and people seem to have gotten more used to his playstyle, aka he's got more patient. Heisen is such a weird thing for summers because, or just in general in the EU, because Heisen has only 2 modes, and it's I'm literally in top 32 and I'll lose to Pierre, or I will beat literally anyone and I'm better than Sandstorm. And it's so weird how he's not one of those players that like go into tournament with one mode or the other. Like on one of the tournaments he's going to be Sandstorm, the other tournament is going to be losing to Pierre. It's more like he swaps between the modes while he's in the middle of the matches. Like first stock he'll be Sandstorm, second stock he'll just be no one.
Yeah.
So that's just how Heisen goes. For everything else, the top 8, dude, everyone is on the same level, man. Like,
So
it's crazy.
do you like have any, I don't know, idea of like what you're really looking at in terms of top 8? Like I can give you, for example, like you're looking at it, I can give you like 8 people I think are gonna be looking good, like, right? So do
In
you
EU
think?
or-
Yeah, you said you've got Hyson, and Acno could just win. Simple
Right.
is kind of lacking. So who are the other names that you really should be looking out for? Like, I always see
And for
720
Mini,
Polyshot coming out. Like,
I
looking
think
at
and from
right now.
oh, and for Mini can take it actually.
Yeah.
Well, actually, because I've been playing and facing and seeing the brackets,
Mhm.
live there, in the spots at top 8, top, 9, whatever. I've been seeing, of course, we have Acno and Heisen, those two, top 2, the last 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
And you forgot one other person that's been extremely consistent. It doesn't matter, like, what tournament it is. It's not necessarily that he's going to get first or second, but he's always getting top 8, and that's Blaze.
Yeah.
Blaze has been extremely consistent. Simple, you haven't seen him perform in a while. I mean, he managed to, I think, he got 4th place, right, in Combo Breaker, I'm sure. Another person that you've seen recently is actually Zyder, who's, of course, he's a bot member, and he's been grinding a lot. But Zyder's got in 8th place in Spring Champs, and he's got in 5th in Combo Breaker, and those are the 2 most recent tournaments. And he's still really consistent. He's still at that level. Like, he's even beaten Simple to get into, I think it was Spring Champs. I'm not sure. Someone can correct me.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Or actually, maybe Convert.
And Blue, with Blue, he's just like Simple's case. There's a bit of consistency. He still got top 8 in the last 2 tournaments. But yeah, those the other guys apart from Magna Heisen. I'm sure it's gonna be Blaze, Simple, Zyder. There's Polly. There's a chance of me. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, Pavelski, he's got the skill, but that guy's consistency is something different. I don't know, man.
His consistency comes down to what he's playing. Whenever he goes a bit weird on like his mentality on what he doesn't know what to play or the character he's playing, he can't really feel the character itself. He doesn't really perform. But the moment he finds the character that he really feels with, and he just naturally plays it, Lucian was probably his best example of it. He just plays incredibly. So I think Pavelski is definitely, for this one at least, is on the look. I'm definitely looking at Pavelski for this one. Polyshot, interesting. I think Polyshot and Zyder are just like 2 different coins. Polyshot is the more wild version of Zyder, while Zyder is the more calm version of Polyshot. It's probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, Dad? Did you say Polly is the wild one and Zyder isn't?
Yes, I think Zyder is way more about consistency and being safe than being crazy. I really wouldn't consider Zyder a crazy player at all.
Okay, all right. Well, there's some bot boys in the chat
All right,
that
so
would disagree with you, right? But
Look-
I don't
Looking-
care if they disagree with me. It's my own opinion, and that's what I see from the gameplay, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, looking at it, looking at Combo Breaker, we had Goosey, Simple, Acno Zyder, like you said, in top 8, and Blaze Heisen, all those good people, Blue, and even Addy managed to break top 8 in Combo Breaker.
Right.
Do you guys think EU has been consistent looking like that the entire year so far with Winter, Springs, Combo Breaker? So moving into, and CEO, of course, moving into summer, do you think you can see that same consistency? Because Addy, I haven't seen Addy in a while, so whenever he manages to get top 8, I really do hear about it. So who do you really think can really break into top 8?
like, do you want to say? Or...
Who's gonna break into top 8?
No, like do you think it's gonna be anything like Combo Breaker? Like should it look the same as Combo Breaker?
I think so. I don't think it's gonna change very much from it. I think the only thing that's gonna change is you'll probably have 4 new people in top 8 that place top 16, and then 4 of the people that place in top 8 are gonna go down to top 16, whatever it was. But you'll have 4 of the other people that placed top 8 still remain. Acno, Heisen probably. Depending on so many different factors, Blue, Mini, Zyder probably, and yeah, I think, and Blaze obviously. Blaze is a weird case. It seems like he's slowly becoming better and better in 1v1 as it progresses. Lately, his gameplay has been starting to become way scarier in 1v1 than it ever was. Previously, I never really felt like Blaze is too much of a scary player to play against. He just plays as consistent as he can and does his own weird decision making that allows him to get far. But now in 1v1, I feel like his gameplay matches his 2v2 skill a lot more.
Okay. All right. So we know what you guys are thinking on who's gonna place and what and all that good stuff. What do you think the meta is like in EU right now, weapon wise, and what do you think is good? What are you gonna see played in the tournament? Because last tournament, Combo Breaker was 2 weeks ago on the same patch, and we saw Bodvar actually take the tournament on Acno's hands.
Yeah, let's not talk about EU's choices, alright? Because 70% is Ogre, alright?
That's actually kind of disgusting.
And that's the saddest thing because Ogrim back in the day. Let's say I'm gonna bring this back to 2017. I won with him. No one thought of Ogrim as a good legend. Everyone thought he was trash. And then Ogrim won. Then the people were saying, "Oh, he's actually not bad." But now, if you play Ogrim, then people call you wheelchair. People call you boosted by Lance and Axe. It's ridiculous. Like you go check. I think it was Springs or Combreaker. Go check the brackets, and I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna see. Out of
No, it was tough.
It's like out of 8 players, 7 or 6 were using Ogrim, and it's the depressing. It is too depressing. But yeah, you do see the typical players who change up their gameplay, like Hyzen and Acno, who switch up, Val, the Bloodbud,
watching
whatever. They mix it up, but then you see Simple or Ogrim. Of course, he's got his store, right? You see me, Ogrim. You see Blaze, Ogrim or Brin. You see Exy, Ogrim. Machette, Ogrim. It's ridiculous.
Ton of Axe in general. I think
Yeah.
EU even in 1v1 is actually surprisingly still using almost, I'd like to say, more Axe than ever. Just getting really interesting considering even though we've mostly been the Axe region, I'm just surprised that even 1v1 is becoming so like dominant with Axe. So many Axes in EU 1v1.
So Acno, like looking at what Acno came through, EU's always been a region where you have a lot of Axes. That's just been its thing. Even when Axe is seen as like, oh, not very good right now, EU manages to find a way and they make it look good no matter what. So Acno actually came through this entire tournament last week, and he played so many characters from Koji, Barraza. You can see a Fate, Terravis, 3-0 with Petra, into playing Bodvar, Val. So many things he pulled out. Is he just a person that plays everything, or do you really think he's gonna stick to one thing this tournament?
Acno?
Yeah, Acno.
Oh, we can just.
Because I'm looking at it, it looks like the guy literally plays everything.
He means random. That guy is good.
He's
just good with everyone. I'm being dead serious. He give him any legend and you tell him win with this legend. He'll win with this legend unless he legitimately gets counted. Because he was beating everyone with Val. I came, played him in a match, used Lance, and I actually abused him. Abused the matchup, and then he switched off. But other than that, if I didn't do that, no one was gonna. He doesn't matter who he's picking. Zero, Petra, Cassidy, whatever, any.
So Acno's coming in playing anything he wants, and he's making it look good. That's a lot of talent.
I think if you lock Acno, he'd actually play way worse. So him, he's like one of the few players in the game that just probably plays better by just swapping around. He probably keeps himself fresh that way as well. And the thing about Acno is his options. He has one of the weirdest options in Brawlhalla and how he plays the game. It straight up surprises me in a lot of the ways where he just chooses the weirdest gravity cancels, the weirdest moves in the weirdest positions. It's so hard to explain without actually having a gameplay example of it. But what's weird is that he does this on every single legend. It's not like it's stuck to whatever specifically he's played for a while. He just picks up another legend and then just does something really weird with it. And that's probably Agno's biggest strength, is just he catches people all the time with these really weird options. And even when you're at the top level and you're trying your best to be defensive, you're trying your best to run away, you're trying your best to avoid these options, he still hits you with it. And that's where he super edges out versus so many players.
Okay. Another thing with the meta in EU, this isn't really that meta, but how would you say the speed of your games are really going? Do you think EU was always in the past known for some slow gameplay, doesn't really hold up nowadays? How do you think you guys are feeling in the speed of your games?
Still the same, no?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say the same. I'd say it shifted more because EU used to be that very horizontal, neutral-based game. Who's gonna attack first in that situation, who's gonna throw, and then someone's gonna punish. But now EU started to jump a lot more. It's looking a bit more like NA, a bit more, but it's still slower because people are still more patient. It's still the EU style, right? Always whoever throws out the first attack is gonna lose in that scenario. But they started to, instead of moving back a lot and just standing on the other side, it's shifted with a lot more jumps, a lot more dodges, and then finally get punished with like a dare or something.
I'm not sure if you actually played Brawlhalla or not, but he was always the reason that. By the way,
I
I'm
mean,
not sure what.
I don't think.
I don't know where you're coming with this.
No.
I feel like
2017,
EU.
2018.
Yeah, they
You were the only
jumped.
player that didn't.
They jumped, but they jumped in place, and the only player that didn't was like pretty good, right? So I don't know. Whenever I compare it to NA was like jumping, but it was usually like jumping at you to bait something. EU, I just like would see controlling that one area, jumping in that spot, waiting for something to happen. So.
Dude, you'd hit an EU player in 2018, and they'd use both their jumps at the same time. Instantly. You just hit him with like a sword neutral, and you'll see him, like,
you weapon throw to get
double
2
jumping,
jumps.
recovering.
Yep.
While NA players were consistently dodging down. Holy moly. The amount of times NA player just like grab for the ground as if they're like, I don't know.
You think it's
dogs trying to,
changed?
like,
They still
ground
dodge
and,
down. You watch Noel, he hits a sword dare, and it's 3 more sword dares because they go back down.
Like, dude, EU has always been just jumping, jumping.
Yeah,
The only thing is,
it's different, man.
now it's gotten to the point where we at least use a bit more brain. We still jump a lot, but it's like slightly more purpose. And now we're doing it just to annoy the opponent half the time. Like, it's like you cannot get a free hit on an EU player if they're if they're in front of you. You know for a fact that they're gonna move, no matter what. There's no world where like they'll stick to the ground.
All right.
Very few people do that in EU, and I know what you mean that they used to walk backwards more in the past, and now it's like trying to jump around. But I generally don't. I don't know if I can agree with that.
Can I give you
believe.
an example as to why I said that?
Okay.
If you've seen the way X has been played in 2017, 2018, you would not say they jump dead, because anyone who did that was not successful, and that is the truth. There was a lot of side lights, there was a lot of end lights, there was a lot of more grounded options than there was dare to approach. Now you have Axe players who are literally approaching with dare, and now what they're doing is I don't know like what kind of game it is where we have to get on top of someone, who's gonna get on top of who quicker and then do a dare on Axe. It's literally like that. People with each other, if they're next to each other with Axe, they're gonna jump, and who's gonna get the dare quicker?
Mini.
It is shifted.
Am I faker or like what's going on? Because like I was doing this in 2015.
Okay, bro, you're insane.
Jump
man.
there. What do you? But like,
No.
what are you talking about? Everyone on Axe is always jump there. Grounded gameplay with Axe.
No,
Dude,
it was
gameplay.
I'm being serious. Like, you should.
It's a new,
People have
it's a
swapped.
new wave in that
People
region.
start understanding. All right, let me play more. Actually stick to the ground a bit more sometimes. Like I don't know. Like you were the first Brawlhalla Axe player to stick to the ground and win a tournament.
But that just goes to show that maybe.
No, okay, it's more effective.
Yeah.
Go on.
Isn't that just go to show that the grounded play is what beats the aerial play when it comes to Axe hitters, like being on the ground? Because when Mini was winning with Axe, it wasn't like he was the only Axe player, right? There was a bunch of Axes, and his grounded play was countering that of the jumping coming at you play. So I can see how Mini says it comes into it, and now okay, I stopped jumping, and it made other people also stop jumping. So he's saying that there's a lot of grounded play with that EU Axe, but now it's returned to that jumpy playstyle because people are looking at it and finding a way to beat the ground playstyle. Is that like what's happening?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, because now I'm telling you right now, since I started to come back, I noticed what I was doing when I was quote unquote not as good before I got back into 4th place Springs. I was playing grounded, and I tried to play the neutral game, and then I'll just notice this guy, instead of him trying to play neutral with me, he's just going to go over my head and then and just force me to do something. You would think D-Light would work in the situation with X. You think that's going to catch me, but I don't know. They changed up the tempo, I guess.
It's never that simple.
It's never that simple, yeah. Sure.
All right, we're going to talk about NA in a bit, but I have one last question. Anything you want to say, but I want to ask something real quick. What if you could just like look at Acno and pinpoint something? What makes him so good, right? Just for all the people that want to know. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Something like that. What makes Acno? Because I feel like you could go look at Sandstorm, and when Sandstorm was like completely dominant, you can look at Sandstorm. And you're like, what is he doing better than everyone else? Right? It's the way he conserves his dodges, the movement he has without using his dodge, not wasting it, and then his punish game is perfect, right? What is Acno doing on all, and it goes on all these legends too. So what is he doing with all these characters that makes him so perfect, right?
You can take it first if you want.
Okay. With Acno, the thing is that he has such a strong punish game that it got to the point where, like you said, it's his options are very weird. Everyone starts thinking that like no one understands his options. He's gone to the point where he's understands how to punish someone so much that he starts doing gravity cancels out at like hit stun, and it scares people. It forces people to, change up the gameplay. I guess what you can say is that he just grinded the game a lot, because if you check his hours, he's played a lot. He's grinded the game a lot to the point where he's understood how to punish certain things. And prior to him being a top player, this guy was hugging the wall in ranked.
The LDZ special.
I'm not say this is a joke. He's actually learned to play off stage. Now people are scared to face him off stage, and he kind of implemented that into his neutral game, and he's learned how to punish like for almost every scenario. It scares you, like. Yeah. And then that gives him kind of the leeway to go do his gravity cancels, and then add on to that, people start saying it's weird the way he starts punishing people. Yeah, his punish game was just that much more developed than others, I guess.
So what I'm hearing here is Acno adopted the best parts of NA, sharking and waking up out of hit stun. I told you.
Kind of.
It's gonna come to your region eventually.
He just looked at over NA. He's like, NA's beating you. What does NA do? Oh, all right.
Attack out of hit stun, sit on the wall. LDZ, same thing with LDZ. LDZ came through. He decided that, you know what, I'm gonna shark for 3 months and then win every tournament for 2 years.
Dude, I remember playing as LDZ in King's Pass. Jesus. He would not leave the middle area. And I was the sharker back then.
Mm-hmm. That was Thunder. That was Thunder Guard Diakou. Middle of the map, sword in there.
What's interesting about Acno as well, though, that I think a lot of people also miss, that guy doesn't really miss a punish either. I don't care that his punish game is strong, but he doesn't miss a punish. If you see the amount of times someone has no jumps left and they're touching the stage, that is an option so many players in Brawlhalla blunder at the top level, because usually you can do a falling attack, throw, or possibly you have a dodge left, or a recovery. Even though the opponent doesn't have jumps, they still have like 4 possible options left. Acno is a freak at hitting people if they have limited options. He hits people with limited options all the time. Like, it's so often where he does that. But in general, I'd like to say that Acno just takes leads really well. He doesn't necessarily keep them, but he's so good at just getting the kill when he has to in weird options and weird scenarios, which really puts him super far ahead. Because he does it against like the best of the best, and when you can do it against the best of the best, it just really changes your gameplay. It's the same case with Sandstorm. Like, if Sandstorm has a guaranteed kill on you, he will not drop it.
Yeah.
If he drops it, he's losing that tournament, because like he's not the person to drop stuff.
You can tell that if they're messing up their punishes, they're whiffing, they're not getting these confirmed kills, that they're not playing at their best, and it's gonna cost them. So the thing Acno does perfectly is, and just restating what you just said, is he takes what's there and he makes sure he gets it, right? Like, if it's in front of him, he's going to take it to full advantage. Right. He's going to get confirmed kills. He's going to end the stocks where they need to be ended. He's not going to pull things on for longer than they need to be going.
I think the last thing before we move on from it, though, is he has this thing where he also actually matches the enemy's tempo. He's not, like, even though most of the time looks like he's like a very aggressive player, if the opponent player plays defensive, he's not going to like lose his stock for free by just running at the opponent stupidly. If the opponent plays aggressive, he actually baits in the opponent player really hard. Especially off stage. If you try to challenge Acno off stage sometimes, he purposefully does things that end up putting you in a position where if you challenge him, you actually just die for it. It's just a bait position. It's not an actual real position. He pretends that... Actually, no, he sticks his arm out and he's like, if you take my arm, I'm taking your body. You know what I mean? Like, that's how he plays off stage very often. But yeah, that's pretty much it about Acno, really, and why he's so different from rest of EU, because he definitely is a different tier at this point. I think Hyacinth can reach that, and he has shown it many times. It's just way more inconsistent.
I get it. All right, well, I think we want to talk about NA for a bit before we move on to the next subject. And let me tell you that no one knows what is happening in that region. Not even, trust me. I can't even make this shit up. If Costlix won this tournament, I wouldn't say shit. I honestly have no... we're at a point where Snowy's looking like a top 5 player. He has 2 accounts in the top 10 ranked. He's playing 500 games on both. I'm honestly terrified of this weekend. But we gotta say Boomy just hit 3K elo, second season in a row. So maybe it's him. You got Santi up there. You got a lot of people in North America that honestly they all look like something. And I don't know if the word is good or bad or what, but you got a lot of names and a lot of people. Sandstorm is one person I can just go ahead and say I don't think can win the tournament. And that's a very bold statement, but he just came off of a loss on Combo Breaker, and then he came off that loss, and he decided that after that loss, he was going to put in even less hours than he did before the loss. So, I mean, I can look at it and I can go, okay, I'll say, okay, is Sandstorm going to win this tournament? No. Is he going to get top 8? He's Sandstorm, so probably, yeah. He's going to work for it. But let's just hope Wilson's not once again in his path, because holy shit, that did not look good for him last time. You got Koslik's a possible winner. Cody's he's up there in the winners. Wrench likes to come in randomly and then just disappear, and then also kind of like, it's just, everyone is a thing. So I just don't know. Impala was cheated out of his top 8 last tournament. Maybe he's upset. If you guys didn't see, Impala actually walked off against Isidru game 3, and Isidru got top 8 for that. But we really do take those, so Isidru's not gonna complain about that. Yeah, his internet DC'd. But he's been beating Ethan every tournament. Everyone's definitely looking scary. Stingray still looks really good, even though we were not seeing him break into top 8, right?
I haven't seen that guy in forever.
Yeah, you saw him in Winters, and then every other time you've seen him, he's looked good, but he's just like, okay, last tournament, what do you want him to do? He played Sandstorm for top 8, right? Like, one of them have to make it, and it's Sandstorm. So, if I had to just like give something up the top of my head for what this weekend is looking like, I can see Cody in top 8, Kostelix, Boomy, of course, me, Faison has been looking. Faison always looks good, but there's times where he looks good and then he doesn't actually do anything with the good looking, right? Like, oh, you got all this handsomeness, but you stay in your house, so does it really matter that you're handsome? I don't know. Lil Cap was crazy last time, and he did something.
He's gonna do better this time.
You really do? It's something that I've never seen him do before, where he just decides, okay, not only am I gonna tear up this bracket, I have a second pick for once in my life. So he's playing Kostelix, and that's usually something he loses into Kostelix, right? And he decides, I'm gonna switch to Taros, and I'm gonna take this win, right? So NA is really like, it really is just a mess. So
There's something called the reverse crockie paradox. All right, and the reverse crockie paradox is whenever a pro player streams Brawlhalla for a good amount of time before a tournament, they usually perform proportionally to how long and how much they stream before the tournament. The reason why it's called the reverse crockie paradox is because Crockie does that all the time, and he doesn't really perform as well as
the longer Crockie streams, the worse he gets.
But you have to understand, I've seen Lil Cap stream at like 1 p.m. EU time, which is like 7 a.m.
No,
for you guys.
Seriously,
past like 2 weeks.
I was about to start my stream, and I see, oh, Cap is streaming. It's 10 a.m. He's been streaming for 3 hours. I'm literally like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
And that's Cap doesn't really practice.
Yeah, right? But the worst part is he's playing ranked, NA ranked at 7 a.m. Like, I'm sure the stream was just Q, and he was getting like 3 games. He got 3 games in that 3 hours. But
I think, and then Cody Travis has straight up been feeding it. Cody Travis, Faison, Boomy, actually, besides him doing YouTube, besides him doing streaming, he's practicing a lot. Kostelix has been practicing, but not on stream as much. He doesn't really stream as much, but he has definitely been practicing.
I don't know how...
You yourself have been playing like years on end at this point.
I don't know.
You the amount of hours you have with Snowy is not the amount of hours I have with any teammate the past 6 months.
With Snow, okay, calm down. I don't play twos with Snowy. That's not me. I'll let you know right now. That's not. You can't find any evidence on that. But on the note of Kostelix, you might run into in ranked a lot and see on other people's streams. And there's this thing that he hasn't been playing Lance, right? Like, he just hasn't been playing Lance that much. Like, he still has the Algrim, but you've been seeing him play a lot of other characters. I was seeing him really do a number on Crockie with his Zariel. So, I mean, do you think he has any, like, secret picks, or is it just to try to learn more matchups going into the weekend? And do you think that's actually something that can help? Because a person like Caustic's,
I will-
you know he sticks onto his lance, but we don't really see him off of it. So is him playing all these other weapons in his downtime good for him rather than just working on the lance matchup?
I think so. I think giving him. I think. Yeah, I actually do think so. And the reason why is because I feel like his lance has been stuck for a bit, where he's just been perfecting the same type of playstyle for a long, long time.
Mm.
And when you start going into different weapons, you actually can pick up certain things from other weapons and be like, hey, this type of like approach or like certain weapon that acts as an example, doing jumps and then fast falls into a spot dodge in the air is so efficient, or like a dodge away with axe into cider as axe, right? Now, if you pick that up and you realize, wait, it's the same concept with Lancer, it's like so powerful if you can just delve into like these smaller aspects with other weapons and smaller nuances, and then just like bring it back to your main weapon. You can actually interchange a lot of things, and I think not only is it good to play other weapons just to learn new things, but also it's good to like play against it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Noel is the biggest example of it. He's always tried to just play the weapon to learn how to play against it. He's one of those people. I don't know about people that can just like play against a weapon instead of playing it yourself to learn it.
Mm. You
Yeah.
know, I think you made a really good point with you can adapt different kinds of plays from one weapon to another, and also playing it to learn how to face it. That's also a very good thing. Another thing is just in general, like you improving on that secondary weapon is always going to be a plus. Like short term, him practicing these ranked games is short term. It's not. He's probably not gonna pick the. I don't know what legend he's been playing, to be honest with you. I haven't been keeping up with Cosmetics. But I just
He's
know that it's
been in ones. He still has the Scarlet and then he has Algrim. He mainly plays the Algrim now, but he always has the Scarlet ready, and that's where he plays the tournament.
And you've been saying he's been playing what weapons?
And all of them. He literally it's like he's queuing random. I can't confirm that it's literally random, but he literally comes in with anything in rank.
Well, YouTube videos coming out probably.
Yeah, there's either YouTube.
Cosmetics playing
That's
random.
yeah, that is a big probability. It's learning something else. But yeah, no, in the short term, I guess it's not going to be that much of a plus. But long term, of course, if he learns how to play, he'll probably learn something from it to learn how to face it, I guess, if he ever had problems with it.
Mm-hmm. No, you can go ahead, I agree.
I think another thing, honestly, is just keeping yourself fresh. There's something about like playing a different weapon that just turns your brain into this different mode. Like it allows you to like feel a bit more fresh than whenever you play a new legend. There's only ever two things that happen when you play a new legend. Number one is you become worse at your main legend for some reason because you're like out of like you're just like rewiring your brain. Or number two, you become like more refreshed on it. You don't feel the burnout the same way. You start seeing things differently. So I think it can only come from. I think playing a different legend, different weapons can only be good for you as long as you spend at minimum 70% of your time on your main weapon, or main legend, should I say?
So just spend most of the time on your main legend, and then dip into the other ones when you need to pick something up, or you need to learn something new, and that's good advice. We're already on the practice topic already, but moving on real quick to what Brawlhalla NA meta is looking like. It's just like what I really don't even know at this point. Like Boomy was on Cross last week, and like you said like a week ago, it must be scary playing Boomy every tournament because he comes in every tournament and he's playing something else. Because this week he's on Lazariel apparently, because that's apparently counteraxe. I don't know if that's the counteraxe, but he switched it up after 1 week getting second. Decided that I'm gonna come in with a different one. I'm gonna make it look even better. He also has the Diana back in his hands. That's what he got 3,000 with this weekend. I mean this this week. So I don't know. There NA when EU is a region where it's like you see a lot of the Algrim, like many were saying. You just see they know Algrim is good. All right, they're all gonna play Algrim. You only have one of those in NA, right? You only ever gonna see one Lance player at the highest level, and that's because none of them really want to invest the time into it. Even Noel, you were telling about how Lance is the better sword. He said, I kind of feel it, and then he stopped feeling it. So he said it wasn't worth it. They're not willing to sell their souls for a top 8.
What?
Yes.
Now, I'm gonna keep taking it. I wonder if people can hear me on stream. I hope so. Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. When it comes to NA, it's definitely less like meta culture than it is in EU. I definitely agree with that. I think NA likes to call stuff broken. NA likes to call stuff this and that, bad. This is bad. This is good, but they'll never actually change what they're playing. They'll just call it, but they won't do anything about it. EU is definitely the region to like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy's playing this guy's doing that. Oh, let's all hop on it. Nope, nope. This is
NA is very like stuck on what they play. Like I don't know. Me personally, I played sword. I always play sword. Even when something's really good, I try to match it with sword. Like I thought hammer was good. Okay, I play Bodvar still. Even if sword isn't that good, you see Noel on sword. Boomy's just a gun player. Boomy's like one of the only people you can really see try to play something else, and then he'll always have to try to have a guns or bow paired with it. But something that you can look at is, I don't know. Cody's gonna be playing Brawlhalla, right? And he even if you don't think Brawlhalla is like the best character or insane, or you think, I saw your tier list and people were telling me that you put Axe at the bottom, right? He's still gonna come in with that Brawlhalla, and he's still gonna make it look like a top 1 pick, because I feel like NA has just gone to the point where the people are different enough in skill to where it doesn't really matter that they're playing low tiers or high tiers or whatever, or
It's kind of
bad
always
weapons.
been the thing about
Yeah.
Brawlhalla as well, though, hasn't it? Where like it's more about movement fundamentals, and like honestly just more about decision making in your gameplay more so than the legends, the weapons, whatever. There are very small cases where something gets buffed to a ridiculous degree and it becomes a bit weird, and then everyone's like, okay, yeah, never mind. We kind of have to just follow the meta a bit. But other than that, I genuinely believe Brawlhalla from the start, even to now, is more about whatever a player finds out with their own character and how cleanly they move with it and what their decision making and options are in the moment. That makes them the better player. Because you look at Cody Chavez's guns, then you look at Boomy's guns. They are literally the most different guns you'll ever find. They're actually straight up on the different.
They're very different.
They're straight up on the exact different spectrums on how they play it out.
For the speed, NA has been, I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but NA's been so fast. Like on my screen right now, you'll see a game that's already on last stock, and this is the game that's about to like end, right? And it's only been 3 minutes in the game, so I feel like NA's been playing really fast lately. And and when I say fast, I don't mean like, because a lot of the times when you're seeing like super fast play, you can also say it's not good play. But I feel like NA's been playing fast and they've been playing well, and I need 5 minutes, if you'll excuse me.
I wanted to actually continue, Minnie?
Okay, what do you say?
Oh, okay, never mind. I actually wanted to continue about something about NA versus EU actually. NA meta has always been like, at least in practice or like whenever they're not in tournament, has always been playing fast in terms of like not wasting time. In EU, whether we are in customs, whether we are in ranked 1v1, whether we are in ranked 2v2, we will make sure we use every single jump we have possible before landing. We will make sure we're dodging and jumping out of hit stun. Like, we will always do these things. While in NA, you'll see people hit each other with double sword downlights because they just don't put as much like effort into their individual like into individual things. In EU, if you hit someone with double downlight, it's just always so surprising because people jump and jump and jump and make sure that they use anything they can to not get hit and delay time as much as possible. It's not necessarily that it's good, but they're always delaying time, always. If someone with something right in front of them and it looks kind of sketchy to punish, an EU player won't go for it, even in practice. Majority, that is, if it looks like 50-50 on whether they'll be able to get the punish. Well, any player will take that. They'll be like, oh, nah, I'm taking this.
Yeah, you're right. It's with EU. They're so like, what's the word for it? It's not patient. It's not scared. It's, I want to say optimal. I don't even know if it's optimal. It's like they're more like chess players than NA.
Persistent.
Yeah, it's like them. I would say that they kind of play chess because it's like they just want to find the right moment all the time. But the problem is they do it all the time. That's the problem. Because, they shift the speed of the game based on what they're actually seeing. If they see someone whiffing, if it's close enough, if it's of course the right time and stuff, they will punish. Of course, they don't play like, let's just say, acno, because acno is probably the more like NA than he is EU. Because that guy, like I said, how he had a crazy punish game. He makes anything become a punish, just like you. They'll go for D-line to D-line. Oh, it's because they do take some risks, whereas EU don't like to take risks.
Yeah,
That's why they improve at a slower rate, and that's why you see, or we say, it's more of a neutral-based kind of region. Whereas NA, you have these, crazy plays and stuff like that. They go for something risky. You can see there's going to be a crazy turnaround at some point. Nah, it's not going to be a crazy turnaround. It's not going to be a reverse game. It's going to be like slowly edging, getting the lead back.
That's true, but I don't think it's not about the region not playing neutral. I think NA just has fast neutral. EU has very slow neutral. EU really likes to delay out their neutral as long as possible, while NA really speeds it up. If you're sleeping, like in NA as an example, if you're kind of like taking a chill and you're sleeping a bit, you'll have a player just weapon throw you instantly. Like they try and force their way in by still being safe. Sandstorm's probably the best example of it. If you're trying to play slow against Sandstorm, he'll just move forward a bit, see how you react to it, and then if he starts understanding that you're not like reacting to,
you're not a jumpy player. He's not gonna be. You're not worried that he's gonna come at you. He starts breaking it with your weapon throws.
So it's just. EU's has always been in the favor of just playing out neutral as slowly as possible. And when it comes to punishes, it comes to anything, especially like off stage. Even we like you said, we don't really have that many reversals as, and it would we don't really have that many crazy opportunities of something just going really weird. That's why it comes. That's why when someone like Pavelski comes into the game in EU, and everyone's just shocked about it because it just never happens that we have a player that plays like that and tries to actually win. That's why it's weird when we see acno play the way it is and actually is doing good. That's why it's weird when Heisen decides to do his Sandstorm imitation and he just, like it's just a stark difference that we notice it instantly.
In BCX is the prime example of like the epitome of like old EU playstyle or the slope EU playstyle. You saw that in 2019. You saw Sandstorm, the guy who, of course, has quicker neutral and has the 0 to deaths, and you quote unquote can say riskier playstyle to a certain extent because he learnt it through going for these 0 to deaths and stuff. And then you see Simple, the guy who only tries to play neutral and only tries to hit you sidelights from the middle of the map. Oh yeah, and then he gets a chance to do a D-light there, confirm the kill. Nothing more than that. It's very simple and it's not risky. He's not gonna go off stage unless he knows he can take you off. You saw when they faced each other, slowly but surely, like Simple was kind of winning in the neutral game, kind of. And then
genuinely had better neutral game.
Yeah. And then you saw Sandstorm just bring out a 0 to death, and all that momentum was gone. Yep. It's like that's the EU weakness. Is that that's why we're shocked when we see a Pavelski, an acno, even a Hyacinth performing.
Yeah.
You're right. It's just whittling people down.
I don't really want to say one is better than the other. I feel like a lot like you're saying Simple. Yeah, Simple got beat by Sandstorm hard to a good extent, but Simple was also tearing up a lot of NA players, and they really do kind of play as fast as Sandstorm, but Simple was able to beat most of it. Sandstorm's just on another level than NA, so of course by the end of it he ended up winning. But when you come up to it and you say, okay, Noel kind of was playing kind of fast at BCX, right? He was playing like some of the best gameplay we ever seen Noel play, but Simple with his slow and steady playstyle still managed to take that out, right? A player at BCX that looked really good and was trying to kind of play like NA was Cake, who I was surprised to actually see, but
that was just weird.
Yeah, that was just different, but
I think Knees was probably interesting.
Yeah.
I think Cake was an anomaly. I don't think we'll see that anomaly for a while again.
I don't know where Cake is. Is he playing Summers?
He's playing twos with me.
Oh, good luck with that. Yeah, I don't know about that, but
no, but it's for sure interesting. The big thing is just like that's why Acno is doing as good as he is, because he's just a combination of both, and that's what it's the healthy mix that's important. Like I'm gonna be honest, Simple bodied Ethan. Yeah. If you remember Ethan versus Simple, that match was just sad to watch. Ethan couldn't do anything versus Simple's neutral whatsoever. Simple just wasn't budging, right? While Sandstorm Sandstorm was even struggling at Simple, but he wasn't because of the fact that every time he got a punish on him, he just extended the punish so hard.
You would see Simple winning a lot of neutrals, but when Sandstorm managed to actually get in, it was usually a kill or just like a gimp off the side. I remember Simple getting dragged like from the middle of Mammoth to the very right of it.
Yeah, it's just and And Simple has always been prone to that. That's probably Simple's biggest weakness in general, or was, especially at the time. And it was just exactly that. A player like Sandstorm. Someone that is somewhat decent in neutral, can play it out neutral as much as he can, but has a freakish punish game. So yeah, that's pretty much where I want to go with EU versus NA, at least in meta. And it's just annoying though. Practicing in EU really is annoying because of the fact that players will do their absolute best to annoy you while you're practicing. Like they will jump every single time. They will dodge from any interaction possible. It's just, and they won't take punishes, man. They just won't. Like, if you're both in neutral and you both have axe in your hand, and then one player finds a somewhat decent opportunity to find a sidelight with axe, the opponent won't sidelight you back or something, or like neutralize you. Instead, they'll wait for you to do a panic attack, like you'll do sidelight on axe, then you do a neutral or a downlight, or they'll wait for you to dodge away and then they'll hit you. They'll wait for your second option, and then they'll punish you for the second option. It's so, like, I'm not saying this every time. I'm saying some certain specific positions this happens very often in EU compared to NA. NA is definitely more daring on taking their punishes.
Okay, we're moving on to an hour on this topic, so we should look at the other ones we have. But just want to reiterate that we see Acno and Hyson. Those are the two, like, best looking in EU, right? You said, and then we also have in NA. Like I said, it's big wild card. You could see anyone taking anything. So, if I had to just pick like random people I know are gonna get top 8, you always have Cody, Koslik, Spoomy. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want to put in on the last bits of summer championships and what's there to expect, you can go ahead. All right, nothing.
As in predictions, or?
Yeah, you can give predictions or anything you want to say, really.
So is there anything you feel like saying?
Yeah, I guess similar kind of legend choices, etc. But I do think you'll see this Acno Heisen, of course, placing. I think you'll see Blue again. I'm sure of that. Possibly Blaze, because I've seen Blaze. That's like my so far. I wouldn't say in any of the top 4. Of course, again, Simple. I've seen him play a lot today, and yeah, it's. I don't want to say EU is more of the consistent one versus NA, because before I would say it's the other way around. I'll say you always see Boomy, Sandstorm, Ren.
Oh, EU is definitely more consistent right now.
Yeah,
but EU is more consistent right now, which is weird, because EU has like 20 top 8 players, or like something like that. You can literally see Michette, Ninja, like possibly Knees, Body Shot, Viper. These guys, they could get top 8, even Pavelski, but they haven't been recently. You know, it just happens. But yeah, maybe you have the same one.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the topic at hand, and that topic is, let me put a little check mark next to this one. Topic 2 for today, we're looking at good practice and what it means. If you're looking at that higher level, or even if you're at a lower level, and you want to make sure you're doing the best you can, the best of your ability, and obviously there's not a perfect way to practice. Everyone practices different. Sandstorm's best way to practice is not practice at all, right? So he's gonna come in and get whatever he gets anyway. That just goes to show that nothing is really set in stone for what kind of player you are. But if I had to say what good practice means, it's just like what we, for example, do when we think, okay, the tournaments haven't been going well, or I'm not high enough. I want to get higher. I want to do something better, right? This is what you're looking for, and I'll let Diakou head us off in it.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a hefty one. I think I'm gonna cover both top level and slightly lower level. I don't mean gold, but I mean like from probably like low diamond or like early or like late plat to top level. When it comes to practice, dude, Brawlhalla players are the most lacking players in like after genres in the world. What ends up happening every single time in a pro's lifespan to like becoming a pro is that they start a Brawlhalla casually with their friends or whatever. They find it, or maybe they find it by themselves and they enjoy it. They play it for like 100, 200, 300 hours. It's addicting. It's more addicting than I'm not gonna I don't know if I'm allowed to say the words on this thing, but it's addicting. Like, this game is addicting if you actually get hooked at the start. And for some reason, you suck at it, but you still play like 200, 300, 400, 500 hours. It's insane. And the time just goes super fast. This is when you're new to the game. Within that time span, you have two players that delve into two different aspects. You have one player that decides to say, "Hey, I'm gonna start entering tournaments for fun, even though I'm gold, and I'm going to start watching streams of pro players. I'm actually going to pay attention to what they're doing and their YouTube videos and whatnot." Or you have the other player that just finds friends and then just forever just get stuck in this casual circle where like they never become that good. They just keep playing it. Um, Now, when we take it to the pro side, or on like the people that become pro, after those 300, 400, 500 hours and they start actually participating in tournaments, they also play a ton of rank. They like straight up, they have like 500 rank games, whatnot. They spar their friends sometimes. And eventually, with time, it's always the same process. They get top 64, they get top 48, they get top 32, they get top 16, and then randomly now they're top 8. And this is always within like their first 500 to 1,000 hours, roughly, at least now in this meta. And then from there on, that's where the weirder part starts from for us pro players. Once we got through to that like top 32, top 16, top 8 mark, that's when it takes a turn for like three different ways. Turn one is where they just don't really practice that as much as they used to, but they still perform by just thinking about the game differently, being weird, doing maybe friendly 2v2, stuff like that. Sandstorm. You have example two. They dwelled even harder into practicing Brawlhalla. They play custom even more. They play rank even more, like the Ethan.
Yeah.
Or you have the third part, which very, very, very few times ever happens, is a player that actually takes a more smarter approach. Instead of working too hard, they just get really short. They watch some replays shortly of their sets. They analyze it fully out. They prepare for a match by actually writing what would help them in a certain match or what a player's habit is, whatnot, and then they use that to perform. So you just have those three different aspects. I'm probably just gonna keep continuing. Where I truly believe in Brawlhalla, no matter who you are, I don't care if you're Sandstorm, it doesn't matter. Players just don't care about their practice. They just don't. It seems like they just don't have the motivation to actually care about it. The tournaments aren't frequent enough for them to care. I think them being monthly or like every 2 week isn't enough. I think if we had tournaments every week, they might actually put in the more effort. But
I feel like when
so
you have
weird.
tournaments every week, it's getting to a point where it's like you're not even like, I don't know, because there's practice where you're like, okay, I want to do well in this tournament, and then there's just every week you never stop. You never like you're getting to a point where are you even practicing for something anymore,
Right.
or are you always playing because there's always something you have to play for, and because I feel like when you have actual practice, it's you give yourself enough time between what you're doing, I mean what you're practicing for, and the practice you do. Because when you get to that point where it's like, okay, this weekend I have this tournament, and then I'm gonna spend all week getting ready for this tournament, and then right after that you have to spend another week getting ready for the next tournament, instead of okay, I'm gonna take the time here because it's important to give yourself time, right? If you're gonna burn yourself out, it's not gonna look good, is it? You can't just keep playing nonstop and then have to go into it. And I get what you're saying, where it's like, okay, Brawlhalla players have bad practice because this is what Brawlhalla players in actuality are doing. They're just not doing anything. They'll play. Ethan even likes to say to himself, "You got like when he's like making fun of his friends Diakou and Snowy, right? He'll go, you guys play all this time and you're still so bad. I maybe spend 20 minutes a day at this game on this game at this point, right? And is that really a good thing? No, because like let's look at it. Ethan, you just got knifed twice, right? Is it good that you're spending 20 minutes a day on the game? Do you want to get better than knifed twice? Yes. So you're going to have to put in the more time. But I'm not telling you to, okay, 5 hours every day for every single day till the tournament. You can't do that. You'll just burn yourself out.
Nope.
Let me say one point about what you guys were saying about good practice, because Diakou and Remmy, you both been making good points about how people don't actually end up practicing. They just play a little bit. Some people what they do, especially in BOP, yeah, we play something called BOP F phase. We just round up all the BOP members, play F phase. We have all kinds of fun just to make sure that we're not rusty in inputs. That's it. But no one really does aspect 3, which is what Diakou was talking about. No one really goes to replays. That's like the smallest percentage. You'll see, I think a good example of that was someone like Wrenched. you saw him note taking in a lot of tournaments for certain people he faced, and I'm sure that he watched his own gameplay days, and that's why he started improving, started actually winning some lands and doing well. But yeah, with EU, it's so like mentally draining to kind of play seriously all the time. So that you never really do see serious practice. You just see people going into rank twos, playing whoever they want, even for fun. They don't have to even play the main legend. Just getting that kind of muscle memory in 20 like a lot of times, and then slowly but surely, if something just like subconsciously just happens, they find out something new, they'll start to adapt that. But of course, no one in EU or NA is just going to be playing rank twos and then playing the same exact way 24/7. He will be adopting
Right.
something, but it's slow. It's not going to be like as if you were to watch your replays and see something and change it immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with replays is that I don't know. I like personally have never looked at replays, even when I put in a lot of time into the game. None of that time is going back to look at the replays. I'm more of a person that likes to see my mistakes on the point and fix them in game. Not like fix them in game, but like understand that what I just didn't work and like keep a mental note of it rather than okay, I'm gonna go check the replays of something I just did and make sure that I really get into my head, don't do it again. And I feel like it's fine. There are definitely people that like, and this is where I think you're trying to go with it. There are people that need to look at their replays and it will genuinely help them. But I don't think that it's like okay, you have to look at your replays to be a top player. And I feel like
No, because no one else is doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
So you're saying the person that looks at their replay is going to step up and it's going to set the new wave of you have to look at the replays.
If their base level is also good, yes. I don't care who you are. I can take any player in this game's replays and I can teach him something from it.
Mm-hmm.
Sandstorm, Boomy, it doesn't matter. If they actually genuinely reached out to me and then said, hey, Diakou, do you want to go through this replay with me? I will improve them. Straight up. I've always been a better coach than I'm a player because I don't do what I preach. But I have consistently said things and preached things the past 5 years, and I have always been able to find something in someone's replays. Because it's possible. It's really not magic. There's a reason we have coaches in this world. You're telling me Brawlhalla players know better than 50 years of professional coaching?
Yeah.
Or like sports coaching? Like it's so silly to even think this way. The Brawlhalla mentality and the Brawlhalla like methodology of like how they think about things just hurts themselves and hurts other people because now other people are thinking, oh, it's cringe for me to do this. My friends are gonna bully me for doing this. It's actually crazy how like in EU it's an insult that people try hard. It's an insult that someone's practicing hard, right?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, come on, guys. I cannot wait for a year from now because of this huge influx of players we've had in 2019, where every single top player that didn't actually give a shit is just out of the game. Every single one.
Yeah,
like,
I hope for that as well.
Straight up, because we have now gotten such a big influx. 2018 wasn't the same. We didn't have the same influx of players. 2019, we have gotten so many new players that currently don't have 1,000 hours in the game, but they will in 1 year from now. And I will tell you, half of the top players will not be top players anymore. Maybe even me. Doesn't matter. I mean, I can't even call myself a top player at this point. I haven't placed.
Content creator, it's fine. But you're saying that the people that they came up, yeah, but you're saying it was like it's honestly like I don't want to say lucky, but it's just like it's a fluke. They're gonna fall off when people really come in and they show that they want it better, they want it more. And honestly, I can see that. I can't really say completely the same for NA. NA's had like a big time where it's like all the people here have been here and they look like they're gonna stay here and they want to stay here. When someone doesn't do well in NA, they tell you they're not doing well and they try to fix it, right? Even Pugsy, he'll like okay, I'm not doing well, and then he'll make sure that next time he does well. So I feel like NA has had time to grow in that regard, and then now they're really just dealing with staying, you know? Like I don't know. I feel like NA doesn't have that same room as EU where every year you see new players coming in that want it more than last year. I feel like NA players are really trying to show that they're here to stay and that they're going to keep playing. And their practice also goes with that where yeah, they don't practice, but when they start losing, then you know they're going to practice, right? You know what I'm saying? They're not practicing, and then it happens. They mess up, they do badly, and then it's really bad for them. Then they realize that they need to do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Actually, let me pull out from Mini here. Let me just pull this because Mini, you could probably comment on it the best because I think you, out of a lot of the top players at least, stick more with the community of like. There's a certain, I mean, not only Bob, because Bob like reaches out to like other players as well. So like, whenever you're involved with Bob, you're also involved with like the side players of Bob as well. And you could probably confirm that. How is the practice mentality of players that you know of? You don't have to call them out. I'm just saying, what's the practice mentality? What's the average?
You see, with EU and the community side of EU, right? No, the top level and community side. Majority of the time is like, as you mentioned, people will call you out for tryharding. Like, do you know how depressing that sounds? You know, when if people were to try hard in EU, that will up the level each time. It would make it so that they would have to try harder, and one has to improve on this in certain aspect. With EU, it's not as serious. It's if you're try hard, I'm gonna complain about you. Unless if I beat you, I'm not gonna complain about you.
Dude.
You didn't try hard. I'm just a better player. It's literally like that. I'm not gonna say the names, but there are top 3 players, top 2, bro, maybe, possibly, top 1, top 8. It's throughout range. Literally all of them in EU would complain about this guy's a sweat, this guy's using this legend, this guy's using this weapon. It's those 3 things. It's kind of ridiculous. That's why EU is unserious when it comes to practicing. But my opinion about what makes good practice and what has been making EU strive a bit is it's more that they focus on their mental. Like sure they would complain, but when they're in game, they have the mental fortitude to stand still on the other side of the map. if need be, right? But like if we're put into seriousness, they have the patience to parry you. They have the patience to play a slow punish game. They have the patience to understand something as in a way or something like that. It's just focusing on their mental, doing what they're good at, avoiding what they're bad at, and slowly picking up on the small things that they're seeing that's different.
Yeah, I've not like dealt with a lot of European players personally. Like I know that they have their people, but I don't know any of them like on it, so I can't really put on for their mentals being bad or good. Either they're like you guys are saying they're good, they can deal with it, and when it gets to the game, they have that rock they need to actually play the game out the way they want it to go. I feel like for the most part, NA has like solid mentals. You don't really see anyone crack. Like even people where like that this person is well known to like tilt or mess up or get upset. Like Cody just came on and won a tournament. Even with he's one of the like well known people to like get tilted, right? But he just came in and win. Ethan is like the best example of like a bad NA mental where it actually starts affecting how you're outputting and how you're playing. And Ethan tries his best to work with it, but that also goes to show that if you don't have mental fortitude to even like play, you're not going to be able to have the mental fortitude to practice, right? Like if you're gonna get tilted in your practice, then it's just gonna be bad practice from the start, and that's just something that's obvious.
Just, dude, I just get so frustrated, man, because like I wish there was a point. There's like 3 Diakous, man. There's 3 Diakous.
There's 3 Diakous.
There's Diakou 1, the typical one we know, the ego that never performs, that doesn't do shit, has been talking, blah, blah, whatever, list goes on. Then you have Diakou 2, which is the coach Diakou, which genuinely wants to see improvement in people and genuinely could probably change a lot of players' gameplay and skills. And you have Diakou number 3, which just wants to quit this game to, like, fix it. Like... You got
BMG Diakou, the third one.
Like, just message BMG, be like, hey, please, can I get a job? I played your game for 5 years. I'm broke now. I have nothing left. Please.
Can I go back to one point that was made about Ethan?
Go ahead.
About how you can see affecting him.
Yeah.
You can see like how, and as we're on the topic of good practice, what makes good practice. I mentioned before that if you focus on mental, right, you can only go up in certain cases, right? And with Ethan, I watched him actually play in his last tournament, and I'm not gonna call him out on what happened, but it was a bit emotional, right? And when it was emotional, that translated into his actual gameplay. Less focus on reacting, predicting. Or
he's not worried about what's gonna happen next. He's still on what just happened, right?
Yeah, and not even just that. He's worried about the result, like of the end game. He's not focusing on the now. It's like
It's
He's
like
scared that-
if I had to like give a perfect example of something he says, he can't. He's gonna go like you're still in the game. You can still win. He goes, I can't believe I'm actually gonna lose to this because he's already
Yeah.
like on the end of the game.
Exactly. He would focus on that he's taken some damage or it's losing. Like it doesn't matter who you're facing. Then you could be facing Sandstorm or you can be facing. I don't want to say this, but I mean any player. Like it could be someone like Espeo or something like that. You know, like mid diamond player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Espeo could on a good day he could take some stocks off you, off Ethan, for example, and if Ethan's gonna start crying about it, it's only gonna make him worse.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
his mental's gonna deteriorate, and he's gonna focus on more that he's about to lose instead of trying not to lose. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I think Ethan's though a little bit weird because 50% of the time he's actually just lately just trolling about it, and then 50% of the time he's serious. In the past, he used to be very serious about it. I think Ethan had a breakthrough when he beat Remmy at that one tournament where he reverses Remmy by just being passive and not caring. That was a breakthrough in Ethan's mentality where he seriously started understanding that the less you care about your options and trust your practice, the better you do. Trust your goddamn practice. Why are you doubting yourself in the middle of the game?
Yeah.
Like how insane is it that you spend hours in rank, in practice, whatever, sparring against people, then you get into the tournament and you start doubting yourself? You don't doubt yourself when you're practicing, but you doubt yourself when you're in the tournament?
You get hit while you're practicing and it's like, oh, alright, I got hit, and then you keep playing. Maybe you win the game, maybe you lose it, but you come in a tournament and then you get hit and then you decide that you just lost and it's done. It doesn't make sense.
Like, this is crazy.
It just doesn't make sense.
Crazy, man. I think... I think I'm just gonna go on like the Diakou Regiment real quick. Just it's free, like, you know, like how like you have like these fitness YouTubers like, oh, buy my plan, buy my training plan, whatever. I'm just gonna give you guys it for free, and it's really easy. It's the easiest thing. Use it for a month. It's super simple. 1 hour every day. 1 hour might be too much. Do 30 minutes. That's fine. Divide it. It's fine. Go in practice mode and only do movement. Movement. Fast fall. Hit your jumps properly. Touch the walls correctly. Ledge cancel. Ledge dash. All of these things just to warm up. This is your warm up thing. People still miss it. Don't tell me that's stupid because you can't do it.
Yeah, like, and that's one of the worst
go to a
things.
Player and ask him.
Then
I can go to a player,
go ahead.
ask him. Ledge cancel 5 times with a dash on Miami Dome. He'll miss it. One of the best players will probably miss it.
Yeah. And that's one of like the biggest things also when it comes to like actually putting in practice. It's like you go, oh, I'm actually like I can do this, but you know I'm not right now. I just don't want to. It just doesn't matter right now. And like a perfect example is like rank, and you'll go, yeah, rank doesn't matter, except you'll never break top 10 in rank no matter how hard you try, right? It doesn't matter though, even though you can't actually, like you're talking about how rank needs to be better, but you can't even win the rank system now as it is. So how are you gonna win a better, harder rank system? You can't complain about it when you're not actually good at it. Like I don't complain about ranked, but when I wanted to, literally this week I came from 2,500 and now I'm ranked 4 in the entire world, right? Like if you're going to complain that something isn't up to par, at least make sure you are utilizing it to how full it actually is, right? And you're gonna say, I'm not practicing because there's nothing on Brawlhalla to practice. You're not practicing because you don't want to and because you're not interested in doing it. Not because it's not there available for you. If you think ranked is the right way to practice, there are custom games, there are people you can find, and the people are choosing not to, and then they're still complaining about how Brawlhalla isn't there, and you're not capable of getting good practice out of it.
Dude, it's just laziness. There's nothing more to it. It's just excuses and laziness. And I will say it from the person who has suffered from it the most. I will say that. I am probably the best example of saying I'll practice, but sit and spectate someone for 8 hours. And it reflects in my results, and then people will be like, oh, we practice and he doesn't even perform. No, it's because I say I'm going to practice, but
and then I don't practice.
Right. Everyone does it. Everyone does it in Brawlhalla. It's like this disease where we are terrified of just practicing, man. It's just crazy, and dude, here's the thing. basketball players, man, just go back to basketball players. They'll still do a drill. The guy's been playing for day in, day out. They breathe basketball. They'll still do drills that they know exactly how to do because it's just keeping yourself up to par. That's what you do the training mode for 30 minutes. It's not about like that you can't do it. It's just make sure that the skills are still there.
Yeah.
One day you might wake up, they might not be there, you know what I mean? And then it's warm up. It's just warm up. That's all it is. After that, here it's really simple, guys. Find yourself a sparring partner that is either better than you or equal to you, exactly, not worse, equal to you or better than you. Spar that guy for 1 hour. Not more, not less, 1 hour roughly. The reason why you want to do more, because after 1 hour, most Brawlhalla players actually start playing way worse. Don't spar them for more than 1 hour because it just won't be as optimized as you'd want it to be. And honestly, you don't need to do more. After that hour, you can do two things. You can decide to go into replays from some of the matches. Just tag down which matches you lost and what places if there was that you didn't like. Check the replay from it, and what you look for in the replay is the interaction. Look for the interaction that something happened, and look if you why did you lose it. Just ask yourself why, where, when, how did this happen. Ask yourself every W like Exo says. Or you can go number 2, take a small break, 10 minutes maybe. Get some water, make sure you have optimal nutrition. That's actually super important, but Brawlhalla players also don't care about that because why not? Haha, we're gamers.
You saw the game at fuel. We were drinking. We're fine.
Alright, and then after that, ranked 2 hours. It's a lot. If you don't want to do 2 hours, you do 1 hour, and then you do another hour later on, but within the same day. You have to do ranked 2 hours a day. Customs 1 hour a day. This is 3 hours roughly, and then training more on top of that, 30 minutes. Replay on top of that, 30 minutes. 4 hours. You can make things smaller or less, but keep it around these 4 hours of numbers. And then you say, oh, 4 hours? Are you crazy? You sit and spectate someone for 10
Yeah, like you guys
watch YouTube videos for 10 hours.
These people are pretending like they're doing something else too.
10 hours a day.
So how does it work that you spar someone for 1 hour and then after that 1 hour it deteriorates? Well, so you're saying the person should spar someone for 1 hour and then 6 hours later they come back to Brawl, play 2 hours of ranked, and then I guess in that same period you go to watch some replays? Is that do you want to be spaced out organized?
You can literally, as long as you do the training mode thing first, you can mix this however you want. You can do ranked first, you can do spars after, you can do spars first, you can do ranked after. It's just about make sure you do 2 hours of ranked, 1 hour of spars. It doesn't sound, it's crazy how little it sounds like. But if you do this consistently and make sure the person you're sparring is better than you or the same level of you, and you do ranked, and the reason why you're doing ranked is you're aiming for rank 1. I don't care if you're gold, I don't care if you're plat, you're aiming for rank 1.
And the thing with the ranked is kind of hard because it gets to a point where, okay, you want to do 2 hours of ranked, but you're also sitting in a ranked queue for 30 minutes, and then and only there is where it's okay for you to start complaining about ranked and how you can't practice because of it, and how ranked is not good enough for you.
Message someone to spar again.
Yeah, like
the reason why you want to do ranked though, and why ranked is so important,
is because it's a bunch of different people.
Every single player is different, and why do you lose in tournaments? Because you
run into something you have no experience with.
It's not even just never experience. Just you don't have the consistency against everything that's different. You need to be able to play against anything. Unoptimal playstyles, optimal playstyles. People will be like, oh, why should I queue up ranked to play against a 2200 elo player that literally is sharking me? Why? Because maybe a good player uses that strategy in a small portion of their game. You'll be able to deal with it.
Even if it's not as good as what the good player would be doing, it's a basis. You know what to expect. You can look at something
and what to deal with and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I've seen this so many times, and it's been wrong very few. And I'm gonna toss out a Diakou number. It sucks, but I'm going to do it. 90% of the time, if someone has gone to rank 1 in Brawlhalla rankings globally, not right after a season starts, I'm talking about roughly 1/3 into the season, and gets rank 1 in the Brawlhalla rankings, they've top 8'd the tournament. They've top 8'd the tournament. Undisputed. They have top 8'd the tournament. If they 9th place, okay. But I mean, at the same time, is that really that bad if you haven't been placing that well in the past?
Yeah.
If you can aim for rank 1, and it doesn't matter if you get rank 1 or not, but aim for it, and I've seen it. When you get rank 1, you consistently, most of the time, get top 8. Because that means you have a base level where you can beat everyone. on a higher win percentage, because you need a higher win percentage than you're losing to get rank 1, right? And if you can do that, that means you're beating people more often than they're beating you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you need for a tournament.
Especially when you're dealing with best of threes and stuff. Like, you need to know you can beat these people, and you need to know that you're capable. You're not going to mess up a game, because in a best of three, you have 2 games to lose, and then what? You're done. You have to make sure that you're stable and you're solid.
You know, with ranked, like you guys said, there's 2 things. Of course, there's obviously grinding for ranked 1, which is not everyone's goal, by the way. Some people just want to play ranked just for the sake of facing other players. Diversity, right?
Yep.
And what's crazy is that there's there's an insane amount of like decent players or decently or to good level players who are actually scared to play ranked. I'm being dead serious. People would rather just play experimental or friendly twos just because they don't want to either ruin that win loss or embarrass themselves. I'm being serious.
Ego. They feel bad losing.
Yeah, it's the pride, and that is bad because you're not gonna face everyone experimental and friendly twos, right? Sure, Sandstorm can play friendly twos and get first place, but that's Sandstorm. You're gonna go into friendly twos. You're gonna get hit by a double ground pound through each other, Teros hammer mains, and what's that gonna help you with when you go into tournament? You're not gonna be facing the same situation. You're gonna face one guy who's either hugging the wall or playing a certain way. He's flying in the sky. There's gonna be these playstyles you have never ever faced in your life, or you faced them once, you lost against them. It hurt your pride. You don't want to go into rank to face them again. So you're gonna go and play.
It hurt your pride. You're just done. You don't come back.
I'm being serious. Look, I've watched NA and I see NA play more rank than they do custom sometimes. It's ridiculous when I see Crockie 100 and something wins
400 games against me, literally.
Yeah. It's look at EU. You're not gonna find those numbers. You're gonna find 20 and 15. It's all custom games. There is pride issues, and that's a lot with not just the top level players. It's mainly the moderate players who have the potential if they had faced these weird playstyles, but they're too scared, so it hinders them.
You lose the game and you decide that there's no more time to lose another game. You switch on to the experimental queues. You decide that's where you live now. And honestly, I mean, what can you do besides tell them that's not how you're gonna get it done? You have to. If you lost, you didn't lose anything. It's elo. Like, okay, you go back in and you learn to win, right? Like, you can't, if you're going to stop, you might as well quit the game. And I understand that the people that there are definitely some people that play ranked and they lose the rank and okay, it's too nerve-wracking. Those aren't competitive people, and I'm not talking obviously the casuals where it's like, okay, I lost in ranked, I don't like losing in ranked, I'm nervous in ranked, I don't even play tournaments. Those aren't the people we're talking about. We're talking about people that genuinely are good at this game and they're willing to flame people for how they play and talk about how they're going to place tournaments, and then they decide that after they lose one ranked game, they're not willing to lose another ranked game, and it just doesn't make sense.
That's EU from what I looked at, and we have a massive problem with pride. If pride wasn't in the way, trust me,
it's in the way of everyone though.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Everyone has their pride to them, their ego, but with EU, it kind of centralizes to the point where it's part of them in their gameplay, because you can see the ego in the game. They don't want to take the risk. They want to play it safe. So you're gonna see slower neutral, you're gonna see slower this, and so progressing will be a bit slower, and that's why you see it's shocking whenever you see an acno, a Heisen, Pavelski, and all these kind of players, because EU players generally don't want to take that risk. They just want to prosper.
All right. Well, Diakou, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have a small thing. When it comes to the regiment, and it's like, it's so funny because the only people that will disagree with it is genuinely the people that are affected by it the most. It's so funny. It's like the players that feel the most offended by it and are like, nah, that's just not true, and they don't want to do it, and they're like, oh, look at Sandstorm, he doesn't practice. Well, first of all, if you're at the top, you actually don't want to change too much of what you're doing until someone challenges it, by the way. All you want to do is keep up. You want to do upkeep in terms of make sure your mechanics are consistent, but you don't want to change it up as much. Maybe that's why. And also, players are different. People learn differently. But there's always a base level you have to strive for, and people have lost their base levels. And then they don't want to train back up to what base level they need. And Pavelski, before Paris, the tournament that he won, and the other tournaments before that, around the time era where he was where he was teaming with me, roughly from June 2019, I stamped Pavelski every single day, telling him, "Have you played rank today? Have you played rank today? Are you rank one yet? Are you rank one yet? Are you rank one?" I kept flaming him for it over and over again. And it's funny because I wasn't doing it, but I knew that it would improve this guy. I knew that if this guy just keeps trying to get rank one, he got rank one, and then he kept playing past that. I was like, "Oh, you got rank one? All right, 3,000 elo is next." Like, keep playing ranked, and then he was sparring me 2 hours, 3 hours maybe a day, and then he was sparring another guy, I don't remember who it was, for like an hour, and then he was sparring casual friends, like just trolling around with them for an hour on top of that as well. Wasn't doing replays much because he's not that much of a replay person.
Some people don't
right? He wasn't doing training mode too much. He still does it when he starts a new weapon, but that was all he was doing specifically. And what ended up happening? He won the goddamn tournament. He got second place in the online tournament. He got second place in another tournament. He won one of the other online tournaments. Like, and that was all just from consistently doing that little thing, that little small change. And that's all you have to do. And the thing is, people will be like, "Oh, I already do that," but you don't. You say you do. You just don't. I've been in your position. I know what it feels like. Take it from me. Like, I know what it feels like to say you do, but you just don't.
Yeah.
You're just kidding yourself. We're so good. Humans are amazing at saying or like protecting themselves. It's pride, it's ego, it sucks, but like sometimes you'll have to just straight up look at it and be like, "Hey, do I really want to perform, or do I just want to continue just doing this silly thing over and over again forever?"
Just to say again, everyone's obviously different, and we're giving you like the most like common and realistic way you're going to succeed is with what Diakou and I are telling you, and to show you that everyone's different. Sandstorm, for example, before BCX 2018, which is the first Worlds he won, and it was so surprising to everyone. Before that, I was talking to Ethan, and I was like, "Oh, where's Steven?" And he was like, "Steven doesn't like to play before a big tournament." So like the like whole 4 days before BCX, you literally didn't see him online. You saw him practice at BCX and then play the tournament. And that's just to show you that yes, there's practice, and there's also maybe you don't have to play. Maybe it's not. But if maybe you have what it takes and you like know that. But if you are not that person, then you definitely need to be taking it more seriously. You need to be practicing. You need to look at your replays. You need to strive for bigger heights every single time. You're not just going for rank 1. You're going for 3K elo. And then when you get to 3K elo, you make a new account. You do it with an 80% win rate. You take the TF Blade approach every single time. So you make it work and you make it look good each time.
Consistency, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have anything to add, Mini?
I was gonna say something about ranked, the final thing about, because you guys were mentioning ranked a lot this whole topic, and I'm gonna go back to how I spoke at the beginning of this podcast about how when I played for Spring Champs, prior to that, I wasn't as good. I wasn't placing at all for a very long time, disregarding Paris Games Week, right? And I wasn't playing good. I wasn't consistent. No one thought that I would be placing. However, because Winter Champs, I got like something at 17th. I started a 30-day grind, and most of the time, which I never do, by the way, I don't grind rank 1s at all. I grinded rank 1s and faced all these players that I never really face. I'll normally just face them in customs or 2s, and it would be like rare. It'll be like once every, I don't know, a month or 2 that I would go ask maybe acno or something like that to spar. So instead, I had to forcibly go into ranked play for 30 days straight, either rank 1s or rank 2s. I put in rank 1s a lot. Faced XC, I faced Link, now. Acno, I faced Simple. I faced these players who are, at that time, like, were getting top 8 and at the top. And I forced myself to improve in that situation. And so even if it's not you going for rank 1, if you just grind enough to the point where you are facing enough people who are at the top and at different diversities, like different, forms of playstyles, you will improve regardless.
Yeah.
As long as you have the good method. You can't be a guy going in there, "I just want elo. I don't care. I'm just gonna cheese," or something like that. No, you can't be stupid like that.
Yeah, and just to show that like you think we're just saying this, he's literally using himself as an example where it's like, okay, I wasn't doing well, I came in, this is what I did, and I got 4th place, right? Like you're going
he got real with himself.
Yeah,
he actually genuinely just got real with himself.
It's not just like talking and saying do this and it might work, bro. He has done it and it did work, and people have done it and like Diakou said, everyone that's gone rank 1 or gone for rank 1, the next weekend what they do, they got top 8, right? And so this thing is real. It's not like, okay, this is what you should do. It'll work, guys. Trust me. You can see it working.
I think the last thing I'll have to say though, and this is actually specifically towards pro players. It's not really. I mean, maybe even casuals or like people that are trying to become pro, but it's specifically pro players that I see the mistake happening. Why are you going into these tournaments, like trying to get a result? It sounds counterintuitive, but once the tournament plays, guys, why don't you make sure that you put in your practice and you just trust your practice? How easy isn't that? When a scenario comes in front of you and you're like, you're 2 stocks against another person, they're 2 stock red, and you have to like hit the specific thing, and you start becoming anxious and start becoming nervous about like whether you're doing the right thing. Is the other guy like going to outplay you here? Like you start panicking. Instead of like thinking about all of these things, why don't you just say, hey, I practiced and I'm just going to do what I practiced. If it doesn't work out, my practice was not good enough, I'll practice harder. If it works out, my practice was good enough. That's way easier than being in the moment and being in a tournament and having to question yourself the entire time. Like, just trust your practice. It's the easiest way of improving, trusting your practice. And if you can't trust your practice, you know what that actually means? You didn't fucking practice.
And
like, you didn't practice. If you can't trust your practice in a tournament, that generally means, holy God, you have so much more improvement to do. Just grab it. It's real estate. Free real estate.
Yeah. And this is something on to Diakou, what Diakou said, because what he's saying is true, but it's not necessarily like always true, because sometimes you run into a wall where it's like you're just nervous. You're always nervous. You're constantly nervous. Doesn't matter how much you practice. Doesn't matter how good the practice was. When you come to tournament, it's a different thing, and you just can't play. And that's and I feel like we could go into that in a completely different thing where it's like tournament nerves and the tournament setting for top players. But if you are not nervous and you are ready, you have to believe in what you've practiced and believe in what you've gotten prepared for. But if you're just finding yourself in every single case and every single time you run into it, you're nervous, you're shaking, you're messing up, you're misinputting, and it's not because you didn't practice, it's because you genuinely can't press the correct buttons, you don't know why, and then that's just another thing. But yeah, we can talk about that another time.
Oh, okay, alright, cool, no worries. I was gonna say something about how there's a certain kind of player who would go into tournament and would shake a bit, but would go into crew battles and shake a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the matter of, you have something to lose. People rely on you, etc. Whereas tournament, they win. But yeah. Is this the end of good practice, or do you have one more topic?
I think that's the last topic we had.
The end of the podcast, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
So just...
That was episode 2 of R&D. Unless anyone has anything to add on either of the topics, Diakou, you got on both?
I don't have anything to add, but I want to reiterate that in general, a lot of these things are obviously opinions. A lot of things are just, I don't know, straight up just, I want to say facts, because it's just this weird thing with Brawlhalla where we've just been stuck in the same like cycle for a while now, 2-3 years maybe, 3 years for sure actually. And there'll come a time where it all just proves out to be, correct and right. It's just not yet, but there will come. The day of reckoning is going to come.
maybe next year, maybe 2 years, but soon. All you players that you think are good right now, they're gone. You get the new blood. But yeah. Real quick, just wanted to say good luck to everyone in Summers this weekend. Make sure you check it out on the official Brawlhalla stream, Summer Championships for 1v1 NA and EU. 2v2 will be next week. And there should be an R&D next week. We'll definitely let you guys know and all of that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, M, for Mini, for having come on today.
Indeed.
Really appreciate it.
Make sure you go to this guy's Twitch stream and everything, man.
Yeah, he's been streaming every single day. EU time, of course. He controls the European scene. Maybe he's going to come back up again, you don't know. We're talking about acno and Heisen, but M for Mini's right here with the 4th place, and he's looking to get another one. So make sure you follow M for Mini. Follow him on Twitter, M_4_Mini on Twitter, and all that good stuff. Diakou, you already know, at the Diakou. Check out his YouTube channel. He's been grinding lately. Sure, his tier list was wrong.
Grinders, dude.
His tier list was wrong. It was an online tournament tier list. He didn't equip it for online tournaments with Axe being number 1 online and last offline. But he means well, and Diakou means well. All right. Make sure you follow me on all my socials, all that good stuff. And yeah, I think we're gonna wrap that up. Diakou, you can say your goodbyes if you have any.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, that's pretty much it. You guys already see me enough, and I talk enough. I think we're just gonna move on.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. This is R&D episode 3 with M.
Two.
episode
Don't get ahead of
2.
yourself, buddy.
Oh, I went through the next one. My bad. With M for Mini. This is Remy and me signing off. Yeah. Bye. See you next week.
Peace out.